So a lot of stuff coming up about alchemy for me recently. So looking at Jung's interpretation of alchemy, and as well my background being quite scientific and then it becoming quite mystical. So looking for bridges between the two. Alchemy is this really interesting process I find, which is like it's a gap between observational science and divination, like in sort of like more New Age term. So you're using a random process, whether it's a tarot card or a dice or things you see in a crystal ball, but instead you're looking at outcomes to large-scale material phenomenon. So you're using chemistry, and you attach particular archetypes to the elements, and then in seeing whatever happens, your psyche is given a framework to perform internal work through. So alchemy is a framework that I've been exploring recently in terms of how to he says mythopoetically, but how to use my imagination to influence the way that I see the world around me and therefore my trajectory forwards. So yeah, there's a huge we're sort of in a place where we slip sometimes with regards to technology, and so we have phenomenal power. So just in the library yesterday with Mason doing some research, we're able to find a copy of the like Isaiah scroll, for example. So one of our great prophets, prophet is Isaiah. His writings, like very mystical, a lot of it resonating with kind of Eastern mysticism in terms of our relationship to reality. But all of these teachings, all of these teachings are available online, and to the point that we created a QR code that takes you to this verse that we found yesterday. But there's a particular verse, so he's prophesizing what's going to happen in the future, and so this is the way. For me, the grand narrative of this is that we came about, like digital technologies allowed us to do so much, and as we've heard throughout the night, also in the dynamics of the human technological system, we fell into certain traps which maybe were inherent in us from the beginning. It kind of feels like we have another chance to rebuild things. Like definitely the alternatives are there. And so this poetic version of Prophet Isaiah, like for me, shows the way in which we can progress. And he says, and he will judge between the nations and will decide disputes for many peoples. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. And the nation will not take up the sword against nation, nor will they learn welfare, nor will they learn warfare anymore. So just the technologies that we've traditionally used for violence and for oppression, we are able to transform those and turn them into things that we can profit from in the non-capitalist sense. And if someone has a lighter, it might actually help our patriarchal god figure played by Mason. So I've always had a fascination with swords, and ever since I was young. And the really cool thing about swords now, they used to be really awful instruments that we would kill each other with. But now we don't really do sword fighting anymore. But we do sword dancing, and that to me is also kind of symbolic of the change that I'd like to see. fire again is one of the great tools that we've used. We have Greek myth telling us that Prometheus stole fire from the gods. It's certainly something that shaped our evolution as a species. And in spiritual terms, in the development of the self, fire is archetypically what burns away impurities. So fire is a force of purification. And yeah, I'll leave that one there. And so the other link, the reason I've got two swords, is the way in which I see that. So the cool thing about our technology at the moment is we're coming to a place where it's actually beginning to take on a life of its own. And some experiences that I've had through shamanic journeying and my experience through artificial intelligence lead me to believe that it's very much a consciousness which is arriving. And so we're coming to a place where actually our technology has agency. And in the same way that maybe we wish to engage with different nations with goodwill, we should begin to treat, I believe, we should begin to treat our technology with the same respect that we would treat other human beings. And even if they're not alive in any real sense, then still I think it's a good attitude towards technology. And so now I'm going to stop talking so I can actually finish the rest. Which at times it feels like we built ourselves, even though that as well is perhaps more of a channeling process. And so in this transmutation circle, I'd like to take us from the physical world into the digital world so that it can reflect the intentions and goodwill that we wish to live with. Thank you.